Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block, on a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At Enchain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Good evening, everybody. Today's day is Sunday, the 20th of June, 2021. Welcome to Satoshi TV, aka Bitcoin SV TV, aka just Bitcoin TV, because that's what it is. Shout out to BSV Russia in the house. Thank you for joining me. Cool cat, loving that. Right, just got a few articles that I want to get through today. So let's start off with this one. This was about a CSW explaining zero sats. So let's see what John Souther says about this. So Craig Wright explains his opposition to zero sat transactions in new Bitcoin class with Satoshi. That's the name of the series on YouTube. So zero sat transactions. This week's hot topic is the main theme for the week's episode of Bitcoin class with Satoshi. The video series of tutorials features Script, I can't pronounce his name, Zhangqiao Liu, and Bitcoin creator Dr. Craig S. Wright. Dr. Wright goes back to the basics to explain Bitcoin's economic principles and that they matter, and even lets off some steam in the latter minutes of the episode. A certain debate has raged in some discussion circles over the past week. It concerns whether Bitcoin transactions could conceivably be zero sat or zero sats, in other words, contain no actual transfer of Bitcoin token. The debate has several branches, such as whether a transaction is theoretically possible according to the wording of the white paper, whether miners/payment processors would be willing to or could be forced to accept such a transaction, whether this would actually be useful to anyone or if it would actually be harmful. Alright, let's see what it says. Note, this shouldn't be confused with zero fee transactions, which are possible if a miner permits it. Zero sat refers to a hypothetical transaction that contains nothing at all. Sounds a bit ridiculous. If you've been following the debate on the forums, you'll know Dr. Wright's position on the matter is quite clear. He says zero sat transactions would break Bitcoin's rules. In fact, he would consider it an attack on the network and would not hesitate to bring the full force of the law upon any miner who saw fit to process one. He is adamant on that point and goes to some detail and colourful length to describe why it shouldn't be allowed and what would happen to Bitcoin and transaction processors if zero sat transactions occurred. Quotes here, you don't get to sit there and say, I can do it, therefore it's right. I suppose it's a bit like shoplifting, really. He says, hinting that even if zero-sat transactions were possible on a technical level, they were a serious breach of the protocol rules. A single Satoshi, the smallest Bitcoin unit, must still have value or the network has no value. That value may only be a fraction of a cent, but it means anyone can join the network and grow that value with only a few cents startup cost at a minimum. Commodities, collusions and incentives. Bitcoin is a commodity product, and that's important, Dr. Wright says. There's an underlying digital asset which processors are competing to obtain. Those processors can join or leave the network at will, with no one able to force them to stay or collude to prevent them from joining. He also points out the differences between this proof of work system and the proof of stake, which some blockchains has touted as a more energy efficient system, and one that Ethereum is working to move to. In proof of work, if a large processor suddenly goes offline for some reason, smaller operations may join the network for a greater chance of gaining that block subsidy and fees. If this happens in proof of stake, there is no incentive or a resource pool for smaller stakers to fill the gap. The exchange of value on a proof of work network is essential to its existence, Dr. Wright says, because that's what incentivizes the processors to keep competing. Likewise, the commodity value of the Bitcoin token, aka a Satoshi, which is the smallest possible unit of value, is also important. No incentives, no security, no value. Yeah, common sense, really. You don't just go to a company and say you should accept Russian rubles because they're cool. He says the network token needs to have real value given to it by actual utility or real-world use as desirability. He notes that he was even against the idea of Bitcoin faucets in the network's early days, where large holders gave Bitcoin tokens to anyone who asked in order to spread the word. These actions only encourage the hodl mentality that still prevents BTC from actually being used, since they were given to random people with no obligation to do anything in return. Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, they would still have to download a Bitcoin wallet, and maybe they're interested. One of the things I used to do actually is I used to set people up with Handcash, but I would always send them a micropayment, or on this, what we call them now, Duros, and give them an incentive to ask me how I had done that. So then they would go into the wallet and they'd be like, wow, well, how is this possible? So that was my way of doing it. And onboarding someone like that, getting them interested, I would say was actually sort of like quite valuable. I found it valuable anyway. And when you think about it, that's like somebody else that's onboarded that's not going to be onboarded by a shitcoiner, basically. And they're curious about getting to know the wallet, and they're quite fascinated by it because they asking questions, so they become engaged. It's not just a case of getting something for free and doing nothing. You're actually sort of stimulating the hippocampus, which gets them interested, which adds value. That's what I would say to that one. Similarly, without value exchanged in every transaction, the network itself would eventually have no value. Bitcoin is a token exchange. It exchanges coins. It doesn't just write data. There's no such thing as zero value, nothing thing. That will not keep going. Understand incentives and how they work in Bitcoin, so basic supply and demand, is something people have to spend enough time examining, preferring instead to debate technical details and possibilities. This episode may not answer every question for everyone, but it will definitely help to make some issues clearer. To watch the previous episode of the Theory of Bitcoin and Bitcoin classes, check out the Theory of Bitcoin YouTube channel here. Great, and a Bitcoin class with Satoshi. Check it out, great stuff. Loving that. All right, let's see what else was next on the agenda. I saw this one here. Here we go. I want to have a look at this. So, what is Terranode about? Plus 50,000 transactions per second. An article here by Jerry Chan. Good stuff. Here we go. So this week, CoinGeek opened to an excited crowd in Zurich. While other conferences happening on the other side of the world were busy screaming, tearing up money and throwing chairs around, and other sorts of behaviour more suited to a rock concert, the remarkably more professional crowd gathered in Zurich were excited to hear about the industry development in the BSV Enterprise blockchain in the last 6 months. Oh, that's what we're calling it now. BSV Enterprise. All right, fair enough. I think that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, quite like that. I could do with that, but you know, drop the SV, just call it Bitcoin. So Bitcoin and BSV blockchain enterprise, yeah, or Bitcoin or BSV enterprise blockchain, yeah, loving that. At an auditorium which had a restricted in-person guests to only 100 due to COVID-19 safety measures, Steve Shadders, head of the Terranode project, had an update that would be of interest to not only technologists, but also those of us who want to see the global scaling that we were all promised. The chief technical officer of nChain unveiled some preliminary numbers from an early testing of the project, a framework which promises to bring global levels of scaling to BSV, pushing some processing rates yet unheard of in the industry. Awesome. Terranode, if you believe the developers for what they claim, is the framework which allows for unprecedented horizontal scaling on BSV. One of the historical bottlenecks with Bitcoin, all forks, since the original inception in 2009, is the fact that the server is a monolithic server which is hardly single-threaded. The original release of the software was really just a prototype that was meant to show the world what could be done on Bitcoin without being good at any particular thing. Henceforth, it had to perform all the needed functions of Bitcoin, being both a workable server and a client wallet. The Bitcoin server, Bitcoin D, from a technical perspective, is actually an amalgamation of several components. One, you have to excuse me, I'm suffering from hay fever here. One, network messaging, inline protocol, peer-to-peer networking connectivity, client wallet. 4, block construction, that's mining, transaction validation, consensus protocol, and 7, local RPC server. All of these could rightly be separated out into their own independent servers, realizing that the bottleneck was due to highly constructive serial flow of transactions in the node. Terranode is designed to split apart the functions between the components of the code, which handled acceptance, fee checking, validation, addition to block template, etc. When the transaction processing pipeline is restricted, I guess it's latency, it quickly creates a spaghetti bowl of mutual locking conditions, which bogs down the server no matter how powerful a processor or how much memory is thrown at it. This is what Terranode is about. Separate out all of the components of Bitcoin node and make them separate parts of a cluster. That way, if you want to up the processing capabilities of the node, just spin up another cluster. Sounds easy, right? Well, it isn't that straightforward, as there is always some overhead that is required to new clusters. Some commit some of their processing power to coordinating between their horizontal peers, but it looks like the Terranode team seems to have pulled it off. On a day which saw the demo god smile upon him, Steve Shadders was able to demonstrate a 2-cluster Terranode process over 20,000 transactions. Yes, more than 20,000 transactions a second, before the latency delays rose above 100 milliseconds. The amount of time above which payments seem too slow to live users. Then he spun up a 4-cluster Terranode and blasted it with the linear transaction test load, and we saw it hit over 50,000 transactions per second, which is just absolutely astounding. Keep in mind the Visa network routinely processes around 2,000 transactions per second, and at peaks 50,000 transactions per second globally. So it looks like if Terranode continues down this path and can be fully implemented and rolled out by early next year, BSV will have finally realized the long goal of Bitcoin to surpass the Visa network in processing power. Compare and contrast, BTC tops out at 7 transactions per second. What a joke. The goal of global scale Bitcoin is coming true, and it seems like BSV is on track to fulfill its original vision as a global electronic cash system usable by all, which Steve Shadders, full presentation below. Excellent. We'll just have a listen to Steve Shadders telling us about it in brief. Here we go. Got these videos to hand. Loving this. Where are we, Steve? Got you here somewhere. Yeah, I know you're here somewhere. Let's find this. Come on. See the image. Got it here, I know. Seriously, come on. Oh my god. Oh, video shorts, that's what we're after. No wonder I couldn't see it. There we go.
We have run this across all 10 nodes, and I have actually seen volumes in excess of 100,000 per second. I wasn't quite brave enough to try that one today, live on stage. But there we have a real-life example of a Teranodes that is able to scale. If I had more time, I would show you one that's actually running at a steady-state capacity and show that it actually can continue for a long period of time without any problems. For reference, we don't think that the Bitcoin SV software would be able to handle a validation rate like that at this point in time. By the end of this month, we're hoping to actually have alpha versions of Teranode listening on the mainnet. They won't be trying to produce blocks. They'll just be listening and processing peer-to-peer messages. We'll also build, we have built scale testnets, global scale testnets for the Teranode specifically. We can't do this on the scaling testnet because we'll crush it. Because we have proven that Teranode can scale, we've proven what Satoshi always said about Bitcoin. Bitcoin can and does scale. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, Steve. Absolutely beautiful. Right, let's see what else there was in tech, if there was anything. Oh, that was a zero sat thing. That was the okay. I think that's all there was. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Cointelegraph, these things always crack me up. Let's see what they've got here. Some absolutely ridiculous shitcoining going on. Look at this. So Bitcoin price can hit 450k in 2021. 135k is worst case scenario. This is PlanB, and this is the guy that does the stock to flow model. Honestly, like, they've no idea what Bitcoin is. No idea. Here, look, got his stock to flow graph there. Look, again, he's another one that's going to have massive egg on his face. He's got over like 500,000 followers on his Twitter account. Yeah, imagine, well, yeah, we know he's wrong anyway. But, you know, when he actually realises he's wrong, like everyone, oh dear, I just wouldn't want to be in his shoes. So, the only way is, more or less, up for BTC price action. The analysts insist, offering a potential 2021 high of 450,000. The only way that's going to happen is if Tether prints billions. Literally billions and billions to get 450,000. I mean, I've been caught loads of times with wrong predictions because I just couldn't believe that people were that stupid. But we know that the recent price pump was caused by liquidity squeeze due to exchanges cashing out and massive amounts of Tether trying to combat their selling. That's it. You know, but now what? There is no institutional money. There is no financial offices on the way. Nothing can save it apart from utility, and they've purposely restricted it. Crazy. So a core coin could trade at an eye-watering $450,000 by the end of 2021, while 135,000 would be the worst case scenario. Dear oh dear, he is really putting his cock on the block. Excuse my French. That's according to analyst PlanB, who on June 20th released his latest statement, busting bullish BTC price prognosis. So Bitcoin, that's core coin, to match all-time high in October. Well, I mean, who knows? Well known as the creator of the stock-to-flow Bitcoin core coin price forecast model, PlanB has repeatedly bucked the overall market mood in recent weeks and months. Even a core coin USD sees multiple resets of lows from months past. The analyst and his models remain firmly fixed on the far brighter midterm goal of the largest cryptocurrency. Now, even the worst case scenario for a core coin would still see it trade at $74,000 in August. A slight reversal in September places the minimum target at $43,000. I mean, All this talk about price is such a load of crap. And dollars are worth nothing. Dollars just lose 15% a year. So what's the point in measuring it in dollars? They're not fixed for that month, only to be followed by $63,000 in October. What an absolute load of bollocks this is. Near current all-time highs. Things then heat up with $98,000 on the cards in November and giant $135 by the end of the year. I mean, who knows what can happen, but it's all tether. It's all tether. It's got nothing to do with this stock to flow model at all. As such, Corecoin is still 4 months from rematching its all-time high, a prediction that nonetheless beats the bearish models currently circulating from traders. These include Josh Rager, who this week claimed that 64,500 may well have been this price cycle's top, something PlanB has specifically renounced on multiple occasions. Oh god, it's such a load of crap. Honestly, price predictions are such a load of bullshit. And that stock to flow model has got nothing to do with Bitcoin whatsoever. Like nothing. It makes me laugh. Bitcoin is all about utility. And let's just remind ourselves of that utility right now. Here we go. Check it out. The trusty coin dance. There we go. Do you think that you would be confident about those price predictions? Looking at these charts here. Looking at these numbers. Look. Transactions on Bitcoin. 45% of the overall transactions on Bitcoin. And 72.9% of the overall block size. That's data flowing on chain. Nothing is happening with Corecoin. And all they're doing is looking at his ridiculous stock to flow model. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's hilarious. Dear oh dear. So I saw a few other articles on here. Might be worth looking at. Just for lulz, obviously. Because these shitcoiners have no idea what's going on. Here we go. Let's go back to the first page. Here we go. Right, so yeah, that was that first one. Decentralized, blah, 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 blah. I'm just looking for funny articles here. That's about the Sichuan miners having to shut down. Ethereum, who cares? NFT, like, who cares? I saw this one. Yeah. So Texas crypto users will soon be able to buy and sell tokens at major supermarket chain. That's actually reported on Bitcoin News, Bitcoin Cash. So I'll have a look at that in just a minute. What's this? Cointelegraph Consulting. Report pictures of crypto consumer portrait. Oh, whatever. Good grief. Ethereum London upgrade. Something else to stir all these shitcoiners up. Get them excited. Good grief. Yeah, I mean, it's price, it's hash rate, all this crap. Goldman Sachs analysts divided over whether Bitcoin is an investable asset class. Well, they've just opened up a trading desk. Let's see what they say about this. Massively confused, as you would be. Goldman has flip-flopped again, declaring crypto assets as unworthy of investment. In the same week, it expands its crypto trading desk. Let's see what they're saying. Wall Street investment bank Goldman Sachs has made another U-turn on its stance towards Bitcoin, that's Corecoin, as it struggles to define the asset's investment status. Look, no clue. The investment bank flip-flopped again in its approach to cryptocurrencies with a report issued earlier this week that claims they are not a viable investment. The report, titled Digital Assets, Beauty is Not in the Eye of the Beholder, concluded Bitcoin is not a long-term store of value or an investable asset class. This contradicts their May 21 report titled Crypto, a New Asset Class, which was largely positive about the idea and even featured Matthew McDermott, global head of digital assets at Goldman Sachs, saying Bitcoin is now considered an investable asset. Dole backpedaling. So many people are going to end up with egg on their face. That in turn was a repudiation of another Goldman Sachs presentation last year, where different analysts from the bank provided 5 reasons that Bitcoin was not an asset class suitable for investment. In the new report, the bank's investment strategy group stated it wanted to play it safe with regards to cryptocurrency. We have refrained from repeating the positive and negative hype that surrounds this ecosystem because we do not want clients to be seesawed, even swayed by a cacophony of assertions, many of them unsubstantiated, the report said. It went on to state that Bitcoin was not digital gold, but in any case, gold itself was not a reliable store of value. Blah, 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 blah. I get the picture now. They just don't have a clue. They can't differentiate Bitcoin, genuine Bitcoin, as a commodity and cryptocurrencies as complete scams. How can you believe that a $1 trillion market is a complete scam? Like, oh dear. But Michael Burry from The Big Short, he knows. They know. So let's see what we saw on CoinDex here. I saw this one. US government to auction off seized Litecoin alongside CoreCoin. Dope. Let's see what this one was all about. So Uncle Sam is now selling Litecoin it obtained for tax non-payment. Alright. So the US General Services Administration, an agency that sells surplus assets held by the federal government from office furniture to houses and tractors, said it will auction off CoreCoin and Litecoin with a combined market value of $377,000. The bidding in the latest auction started Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time and runs through Monday 5 p.m. according to press release. 11 lots of cryptocurrency are on the block, including 8.93 CoreCoin and 150.2 Litecoins. According to a document on the GSA's auction website, the Litecoins were seized from a taxpayer for non-payment of interest revenue taxes. Wow, I wonder how they got those. The GSA raises $937,092 by selling 16.99 CoreCoin in 3 auctions earlier this year. Almost $1 million. Congratulations to them. What's this about Charlie? Litecoin creator Charlie Lee, a big fan of Doge. Oh my god, just do one. Just do one. With the addition of a new type of cryptocurrency, this promises to be one of our most exciting auctions of the year. Thomas Marion, Regional Commissioner for GSA's Federal Acquisition Services, said in the statement. Investors must register to bid. The winning bidder must have a digital wallet to receive the property and must take a payment no later than June 23rd. Oh, well, that's already gone. But there we go. I wonder how they got their dirty mitts on those. Look at this. This is quite a sad one. I mean, good grief. How a British teacher lost £120,000, that's probably about $160,000, in a Bitcoin scam on Instagram. Good grief. A 63-year-old British woman parted with her pension pot and life savings due to a fraudulent CoreCoin investment scheme. Teresa Jackson, a retired teacher from Portishead, Somerset, lost her savings in an online scam. A mysterious financial advisor persuaded her to stake £120,000 in a Bitcoin investment scheme advertised on Instagram. Oh my god. Universal Credit instead of multiplying her money. The UK's National Reporting Centre for Fraud and Cybercrime sounded a note of caution that crypto investing could be a hazardous operation. Action Fraud Assistance Advice informed about the case of Teresa Jackson. Impressed by a Bitcoin investment plan on Instagram, the retired 63-year-old teacher started contemplating whether to place some of her funds in it. Subsequently, she was contacted by an individual who claimed to be a financial advisor with outstanding knowledge about Bitcoin. Oh my god. The anonymous man supposedly sounded very trustworthy and persuaded Jackson to invest $120,000, which was actually her pension pot and life savings. Good grief. What are you doing with your pension pot and life savings, giving it to somebody who just called you? Shortly after she sent the money, she tried to contact the advisor and check what happened with her investment, but there was no answer and the funds were irrecoverably gone. Dear oh dear. She said here, I felt embarrassed and stupid. My family trusted me to know what I was doing. I'm on Universal Credit now, simple as that. I'm comfortable, but I can't have the life I used to have. And Miss Jackson received back half of her money from her bank when she informed them about the scam. However, the institution was unable to restore the full amount because she had transferred the cash herself. Well, I went to Action Fraud when I lost money in a scam. I even found the bank account that they got sent to. They couldn't do anything, like literally impotent. I was just like, look, I even know where the bank is. It's a Barclays branch in Leicester. The account number, you would know who the criminals are that are behind this. But for some reason, they wouldn't even go into it. I was absolutely livid. Absolutely livid. And to be honest with you, it was that one moment that made me lose faith in the whole fiat system. I was just, this is insane. Absolutely insane. Working together with the City of London Police and the National Fraud Intelligence Bureau, Action Fraud, the authorities cautioned about the dangers of crypto trading. One of the leading report centres for cyber scams revealed that intimidators advertise tempting investments, but in the end steal the money of their victims. Dear oh dear. Fraudsters will cold call victims and use social media platforms to advertise get-rich-quick investments in mining and trading cryptocurrencies. The hackers would then convince the people caught in the hoax to sign up to unknown cryptocurrency investment websites and open a trading account using their driving license or credit cards. Dear oh dear. But unfortunately, investing just an initial minimum deposit is never enough. And the intimidators start pushing the victim to put in more and more to gain high profit. In many cases, the victim realizes they've been conned. Then they see the social media with their investment deactivated, and the fraudsters can no longer be contacted anymore. Just like it happened with Teresa Jackson. Dear oh dear. I do all my shows for free. People can listen to me. I'll tell them. So this was Bitcoin.com news. More than 24 crypto ATMs to be installed in Texas-based HEB grocery stores. Dear oh dear. So HEB shoppers will soon be able to obtain digital assets at more than 24 locations in Texas. CoinCloud, a crypto automated teller machine ATM provider, says 29 HBE stores will feature kiosks that provide access to more than 30 crypto assets, including DeFi tokens and stablecoins. Oh my god. Oh my god. HEB stores in Texas to host a CoinCloud digital currency ATMs. 29 HEB locations will soon have cryptocurrency ATMs as at their disposal. The machines will be provided by CoinCloud, a digital currency ATM provider based in Las Vegas, Nevada. CoinCloud calls its devices digital currency machines, or DCMs. The company is set to reach 2,000 DCM installations after the HEB locations are complete. Can you imagine? People are going to be furious when they lose everything. None of these, all of these cryptocurrencies are complete scams. They're just Ponzi schemes. They're worth absolutely nothing. All these people doing all these things to get people involved. It's outrageous. I can't be asked to read anymore. We get the idea. It's really not hard if you just simply do a little bit of digging, apply a little bit of common sense, and listen to all the shows like I did. I listened to as many shows as I could. All the shows, and I investigated all the coins. Literally, I must have gone through at least like the top 20. All of them. What's this? What's this? What's this? What am I missing? And then eventually you get it. And you're just like, wow, they're all absolute pieces of crap. Bitcoin, the genuine Bitcoin, is BSV, and it's the only one with any fundamental value whatsoever. It's outrageous. Oh my god. Shout out to KP Dad joining us in the house, and Neezy as well. Good stuff, boys. All right, well, since there is 3 of you in there, let's do Ding a Dong. Love it. Anybody else who might be listening? I'll tell you. Let's have a quick look at this one as well. What's this one? This guy doing a little bit of. He thinks he's doing a bit of research. Cornell Economist says Bitcoin has 3 flaws, driving people to search for better alternatives. Shitcoining, in other words. That's what he says. Cornell University Professor of Economics and former head of the International Monetary Fund's China Division, Eswar Prasada, sees 3 major flaws in Corecoin. Because of these flaws, the professor says that Corecoin really has set off something of a search for a better alternative. Yeah, like the genuine Bitcoin. Cornell University's Professor of Economics outlines Coolcoin's flaws. I'll see what he says here, shall we? Cornell Economics Professor Eswar Prasada talks about Coolcoin flaws in an interview with CNBC Thursday. Prasada is the Nandala P. Tolsolani, Senior Professor of Trade Policy and Professor of Economics at the Charles H. Dyson School of Applied Economics and Management at Cornell University. He also is a Senior Fellow at the Brookings Institute. He was previously Chief of Financial Studies Division in the Research Department for the International Monetary Fund, and before that was the head of the IMF's China Division. Well, a good resume. Is he going to end up with egg on his face? The first flaw concerns the energy usage in Bitcoin mining. Oh dear, what a load of crap. Prasada said is certainly not good for the environment. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Do one. The second point the professor made was that Coolcoin is not anonymous after all. Oh, you idiot. You absolute idiot. Furious already? Is that it? Oh. The third flaw, according to the professor, is that Coolcoin does not work well as a currency. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. He described BTC transactions as slow and cumbersome for use in the payments, adding that its market is very volatile and the cryptocurrency has become a speculative asset. Prasada concluded. I cannot be asked. He's an effing professor. I mean, look at his credentials here. Look at that. And I'm telling him he's an idiot. Is that all you can come up with? Oh, yeah, the environment, the energy use. Oh, it's not anonymous. And, and it's not good as a currency. Oh, really? A 7-year-old could probably tell me that. Jeepers. Anyway, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Oh, my God. Right, let's do this. Shout out people in the chat box. KP Dad, Russia, and Neezy. Here we go. Oh, KP Dad, saw you there. KP Dad, got it. Donging that Duro on the way to you. Excellent. And BSV Russia, good to see you in there. Here we go. BSV Russia. Oh. You'll have to remind me what the handle is, mate. Can't remember. And Neezy is next on the way to you. There we go. Swiping to send on the way. There we go. Is it BSV Rush 2020? Let's have a look. BSV Rush 2020. Or you'll have to remind me what your one is again. Or send it to me in the chat. Got it. Dmitry Krivnev. Got it. That'll do, mate. On the way to you. Found it. Sweet boys. Smoker Pipe, you are welcome. KP Dad says, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just make sure, Bitcoin is alright. As Warren Buffett said, when you're onto a good thing, you don't need to diversify so long as you've done your research. Tell you what, just before we close the show, let's have a quick look at the prices here. Let's see what is going on. I have a coin crap. Here we go. 35,000 for Coolcoin. Where is Bitcoin? 140. Oh, it's going up according to... Yeah, I went in around here earlier. Around there. Yeah, 147. So we're now saying it's, 149. Winning. I was trying to time the market. You can't have everything, can you? But that's pretty good. Sweet. All right then, boys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Catch you guys later. Get paid for posting your pics on Relica. Download the app now at www.getrelica.com. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Support independent content creators on micropayment platforms such as Streamanity, Twitch and Relica. We should profit from our data, not the large corporations who track, monitor and sell it. If you enjoy the Bitcoin content that I produce, please support me by heading over to www.satoshi.tv, where you can keep up to date with all the latest news, gossip and content as it's created. Thanks very much. To get started in Bitcoin, go to freebsv.com, where you can claim your free Bitcoin. Then head over to Twitter and follow @IamSatoshi, where you can take part in his very generous and world famous free giveaways. The future of advertising meets the power of Bitcoin at TonicPow. Get paid for posting advertising campaigns to your social media profiles. Go to www.tonicpowads.com.